Well, Transit, how we doing this morning? Y'all can give me a little bit more than that. I know you got it in you. Use your outside voices this time. Transit, how we doing? There we are. Well, friends, if we've not met before, my name is Tega. Let me hear you say, hey, girl. Hey, friends, and welcome to the best place to be on a Sunday morning, Transit. Now, we're kicking off a new series called Your Friends and Why They Matter, and we're going into this time of the year that some of us are excited about and some of us are kind of nervous about. How are we feeling about going back to school, people? Okay. It seems like there's a plethora of emotions in the room. Some of us are really excited. Some of us are not so excited. Some of us are a little anxious about it. Some of us are feeling kind of cool, calm, cool, collected. No matter how you feel, I know that this season, this time of going, hey, Transit, if you can hear me, give me one clap. You can hear me, give me two claps. There we go. I know we're feeling a lot of things right now, but when it comes to going back to school, we all have a lot of different emotions. Now, remember, for me as a middle schooler, going back to school, this time of going back to school was kind of up and down. Like, you know, I liked going back to school shopping. I liked getting my first day of school fit ready because I wasn't going to have them looking at me sideways. I had to have a fit on. But the thing about going back to school is we all have an essentials list, or we all have some things that need to happen for a school year to be great. Like, we all have some things in our head that, like, we're like, man, this school year is going to be different than the past ones because there's some things I want to have in order so that the school year can be amazing. And for me as a middle schooler, that was my clothing. Now, the middle school I went to, everyone had to wear uniforms. And so I decided my personality type was I need to add a little razzle-dazzle to what I was wearing. So for me, my first day of school outfit mattered the absolute most to me. In fact, it was a little something like this. Boom. Now, here's the thing about it. Because I ate it up. Okay, polka dot headband, peace and love earrings, the glasses to let you know I can't see when they're down, but when they're up, I'm built different. Now, I was so passionate about going into middle school so that people knew I had a good reputation. I wanted people to look at that girl and think, oh, she's cool. In fact, I took it so far that I edited this picture of myself so people could really think I was cool. Boom. Now, I needed people to know she's danger and dangerous and a smexy vampire, whatever that meant. But that was me as a middle schooler. I wanted a good reputation. I wanted people to look at me and think I was cool. I wanted people to think, man, that's the girl that I want to be friends with. Now, my question for you guys that I want you to kind of think about as we go through this talk and as we enter this series is, hey, what things are essential to you this school year? Like, I want you to really think about that, because for some of us, what would make this school year a great school year is making good grades. For some of us, what would make this school year a great school year is maybe actually settling into school, having a good routine, not doing your homework literally 2 minutes before class starts. For some of us, what would make this school year a great school year is making the sports team. And for a lot of us, what would make this school year a great school year is the friendships that we have around us. But here's the thing about friendships, guys. Friendships, especially as middle schoolers, count so much. In fact, I'll say it this way. The people we run with can actually affect our walk in life. The people that we run with, the people that we associate with, the people that we consider to be our friends actually matter a lot more than you think. Why? Because I know this as a middle schooler to be true, that when we don't have great people around us, they can actually influence us in ways that we don't even realize. Now, as a middle schooler, for me, I told you friends were pretty important, and I really cared what people thought. And so as a middle schooler, I remember specifically around 7th grade, I started hanging with a group of girls who were known as the popular crowd, right? They were the girls that everybody wanted to be like. Everyone loved their outfits. They were the girls that everyone's attention was on. And I wanted to be like them. And so I started associating myself, putting myself around them because I wanted to be like them. The issue was the path that they were going on in life wasn't a path that I necessarily wanted to go on. And I decided to follow them to places that I never thought I would. And specifically, there was one time, there was this test in 7th grade for math, which y'all know math is not always a great subject. So there was this test for math, and all of us were struggling. And specifically, our teacher, Miss Johnson, when it came to tests, because we knew we had a test on Friday, she had the test written out, and she had the answer key on her desk. Now, one day in particular, I'm with this group of girls and they're walking, they tap, and they're like, Tega, Miss Johnson left the test answers on the table on her desk. Now, Miss Johnson isn't in the classroom. No, the classroom's kind of empty. We walk by and the classroom is unlocked. And so they're like, why don't we just take a picture of it so that we know what's on the test? Now, in my heart and my mind, I knew that this was not the right thing to do. Like, I knew enough and I knew better to know, like, hey, cheating and like actually stealing test answers from a teacher is like not it. However, I didn't have the mindset, even though I knew what was wrong, I wanted to follow a group of people who I thought was doing right in my eyes. And so I remember one day in particular, we are walking past this classroom and these girls decide, hey, they're gonna steal the test answers. I decided not to, but I stood by the door keeping watch. And I thought, since I didn't actually go and do exactly what they're doing, but I was around them, like I would be fine. Long story short, these girls get caught. They get in trouble. But you know who else gets in trouble? Me. Because even though I didn't necessarily do the thing, I was associated with them. And my fear is that a lot of us in this room may be associated with people who aren't necessarily leading us to the path, and it may not be cheating, but they may be leading us to a path that we don't want to go on. And so my question for you guys as we're going into this talk this morning is, where do you want to go this school year? Because for a lot of us, we want to go towards a path of honesty, a path of being true, a path of being more like Jesus, a path of not gossiping anymore, a path of being a good friend to other people. But sometimes the people we surround ourselves with can lead us down a road where we're less like Jesus, where we lie a little bit more, where we're not honest, where we're not a good friend, where we're not a good student and not a good person to other people. And so how do we take the right path and how do we bring the right people alongside us? So today we're going to be looking in the book of Proverbs written by a guy named Solomon. And if you've never heard of Solomon before, he is the son of a guy named King David. And if you've ever heard of King David before, he was the guy who took the little slingshot and hit that dude in the forehead and he fell and all the things were history. It's great. Now Solomon, his son, decides to pray to the Lord and he says, God, I want wisdom. I want to know more. I want to be more like you. I want to walk a path that is righteous. And so God grants his prayers and he decides to write this book called Proverbs, where it's a book full of wisdom on how to walk well in life. And then this part, Solomon talks about his friendships. And he says something like this. He says, hey, walk with the wise and become wise. Associate with fools and get in trouble. And so notice that he starts off with this word, walk. He says, hey, the people that you walk with matters. And the people that you walk alongside, the people that you associate with, the people who you call your closest people will actually rub off on you. And when you walk with them, you actually become more like them. For those of you who say, man, where I want to go this school year is I want to go on a path that's really good for me and for the people around you, I would say, and I would venture to say that the people you walk with will actually help you get there. When you walk with people who look more like Jesus and talk more like Jesus and act more like Jesus, you will actually become the people that you're surrounded by. But on the flip side, Solomon says that, hey, the people that you associate with, when you associate with people who make foolish decisions, when you associate with people who aren't actually the wisest in the choices they make and how they treat other people, you will look like them. They will rub off on you. And you actually end up going the direction that they're going. And he says that it can actually get you in trouble. And so I want to read some more translations. And if you didn't know, the Bible, like Jesus didn't speak English. Surprise. The Bible was actually written in a different language. And so when the Bible was translated into English, people wrote different translations of the original language in order for us to read today. So I want to look at a different translation because we're going to see some different things here. This is the NIV translation, but it says, walk with the wise and become wise, for a companion of fools suffers harm. And I want to look at this second statement because it's kind of different from what we just read. But Solomon says here that, hey, when you are a companion of fools, when you're a bestie with someone who's foolish, when you walk hand in hand, side by side with them, it can actually hurt you. Like you can actually suffer harm. And not only does it hurt you, but it hurts those around you. Another translation says it like this. The Amplified Version says, he who walks as a companion with wise men will be wise. Will be. That's a guarantee. But the companions of conceited, dull-witted fools, which is some crazy language, y'all, are fools themselves and will experience harm. Now, you may read this and say, man, those are really sharp words, but I really think that Solomon is trying to drill in this point that the people you surround yourself with matters. And this last translation I want to read is the Message version that says, become wise by walking with the wise. Hang out with fools and watch your life fall to pieces. Now, why are you going so hard on that same verse? We get it already. Who you are around, it matters. Yada, yada, yada. Why is this so important? Because as you guys start this new school year, and as you guys walk into 6th grade or 7th grade or 8th grade, you will be surrounded by people. Middle school is full of people all around you, but that doesn't mean that everyone needs to be your best friend. As middle schoolers, you need to be watchful of the people around you, but also be mindful of where do I want to go? And are these people leading me there? Are they making me better or are they making me bitter? Are they making me more like Jesus or are they making me more like themselves and I'm looking at a person who doesn't even look like me anymore? So, how your life is run is dependent on how you choose to walk, but more so, who you choose to walk with. I want you guys to all think of the friend group you have right now. For all of us in the room, whether you have one friend or you have many, we all are surrounded by people who may be good for us, but some of us in this room may have some people around us who may not be the best for us. That getting around them actually doesn't bring out the best in us. And for some of us, as we start this school year, we may need to make some tough decisions. Why? Because your friendships truly do determine the direction and quality of your life. For some of us, you've probably been walking on a path that you never thought you would walk on, or walking in a direction where you feel like you're stuck where you are. You are not moving forward because the friends you have around you are keeping you where you are, where you're comfortable. And maybe it's time that you chase a better quality of life, the best quality of life, the direction that is Jesus. So I want to leave you guys with 2 questions before you guys head off to small group, and we're going to talk about our friendships more. And what I want to challenge you guys to do is to be honest, to be real with the people that you're surrounded with. Be real about the people you're surrounded with. And maybe for the first time for some of you, it may mean that you need to change up some friend groups. Maybe you need to not be close friends with someone anymore. Don't be mean to them and don't ignore them. But maybe that doesn't need to be your best friend anymore. For others of you, maybe you need to surround yourself with people who are in your small group who may be better, who are leading you towards Jesus. So, here are the questions for you. 1, who are you surrounded by? It's that easy. Who are you surrounded by? And 2, this question's a little bit deeper, but what direction are you moving in? And is it the direction you really want to start the school year off with or continue the school year in? So we're going to talk about this more in small group, but before we go there, I would love to pray for each and every single one of you. All right, let's bow our heads and pray together. God, I thank you so much for the example that you set. That God, you are the best friend. And so God, as we all sit here in this room together and we reflect over what a friend is and what kind of people we're surrounded by, God, would you challenge our hearts? Would you allow us to reflect on the people we have around us and reflect on where we're going? God, help us to make the decisions that may be hard, but give us the courage to make them because we know it'll make us wiser and make us more like you. May we have amazing conversations in small group. God, we love you. We trust you. We want to be more like you, and we thank you for what we've learned about you today. We love you, Lord, and we pray this all in Jesus' name. And everyone at Transit said, Amen. Amen.